Tonks, would you leave my yarn alone, please? Hello! I'm back to do a craft tube, floss tube, chatty sort of diary video just to get you all back into the loop about what I've been up to, because it's been a really long time since I did one of these. I'm here to talk about a number of different crafts. The first one will be cross stitch, then knitting, and finally spinning, because I have finally fixed my spinning wheel. Before I jump straight in, I'm just going to give you a small life update. I don't know if you can see sort of from the background that the lounge is progressing. I would say that the house is done. I have a craft room, I've got furniture, I still need one pair of curtains, but other than that, I even have houseplants. For the first time in my adult life, I have managed to not kill houseplants immediately, which is a victory and a half. Work has been absolutely crazy. When I first joined the company last June, I got an email on my very first day saying the building has been sold and we will be moving. And then in September, I got asked to go to a meeting to take some minutes. Before I knew it, I was the spearhead for the moving process. So for the last couple of months, I've spent my evenings and weekends, and obviously my work days as well, looking at floor plans, looking at equipment lists, trying to make sure that everybody moved, everybody knew to go to the right building, had passes, just all of the minutiae that is involved with moving 300 people from one place to another. Imagine moving house and then multiply that and try organising it. I wasn't the project manager, but I was very heavily involved, so it was been a relief. We moved last Monday, we celebrated with donuts, and I have some semblance of my life back, although work is still super busy because I'm obviously now behind on my normal work. I've managed to write some blog posts, which is really good. The last time I'd written was December, and I finally managed to get in some monthly resolutions, and just there's more of an update about what's been going on month by month. I use writing as some form of therapy, so that I've really enjoyed that, and I'm glad to be back on the blog. I know that YouTube has suffered a bit. I'm really sorry about that. I just never anticipated how busy my life would get, and I blasted through 1,000 subscribers, and then I said there would be some sort of giveaway at the end of a video last month, and I haven't done that, so I will be doing a giveaway at some point, but I want to make sure that I get something that's really good for it, so I don't want to just be like, here, have a random voucher or something, I don't know. So that is pending. Anyway, into the craft. Here is a photo of the little unicorn that I finished. I did this when I was doing the starts and finishes tutorial. I'll pop a link to that in the description box down below. This little unicorn is the quickest, best project. I am obsessed with unicorns. You can see the little unicorn back there. That was just a really nice quick project. If you would like to do that yourself, I will pop a link to the pattern in the box down below. It came from Etsy. I think it was about £2, £3.50. So it's quite cheap, and I will definitely be doing it again. I'll get a lot of enjoyment out of that. I haven't been working on the project that you all expect me to have been working on. Instead, I've been focusing on my Australia map. So the last time that you saw this, I think I just finished the ship. It has progressed massively. If you've been following me on Instagram, you will have seen it. This ship here was what I had just finished the last time you saw it, and obviously there's just loads, so I'll try and do some close-ups. There's a little dolphin, a duck-billed platypus, a koala. I'm working on kangaroos at the moment, and there's some black swans which are native to Australia. Uluru is nearly finished, it's Ayers Rock. Let's go to this side. Can I see? Oh yeah, I've got my person, and then a lizard, and that there is the start of a kookaburra. This project is just great. You can see I haven't really filled in Australia, but the pattern itself doesn't really have much of Australia filled in, so I can't fold it, but it's basically got the borders and then a few key locations on it, and then you can obviously customise it depending on what you have done. So I'll probably put Melbourne, Sydney, all of the places that we visited when we went, and then I might do some other symbols depending. I haven't really decided. It's been a great project. I've done so much work on it when I've been getting home and having like half an hour in front of the TV, and there have been a few like really long binges. Tonks is outside the door waiting to come in. Hopefully she won't start hassling me. That's pretty much it for my cross stitch. Oh no, I lie. A few months ago on Stitch... Hello. Hello. A few months ago on Stitchmania, I saw somebody showing a needle minder that they had bought from, I think it's Gina's Unique Boutique on Etsy, and I had to have one. Something that you don't know about me is that I used to be more than a little bit obsessed with goldfish. I had a 350-litre tank in my lounge. So many lovely, beautiful goldfish, and one of my biggest wishes at the moment is to get another fish tank, but I have to run that one past John, and he's not keen at the moment. When I saw this needle minder, I couldn't buy it fast enough. So it's a little goldfish, it's resin, and it's 3D, so it's sort of, oh, you can't see it very well. It looks like an actual goldfish stuck in the resin, and then it's got a magnet stuck to the back of it and then another magnet for your project. The quality of it is something that I am not 100% sure about. This magnet on the back is stuck on in a very messy way. And then the other issue that I have with it is it's a dome, so the needle doesn't sit on it very well, and I just find it really difficult to use as a needle minder. So I've been using it as sort of a pattern holder thingy. If you know my method, you know that I photocopy my pattern and then I cut it up into chunks that I can easily manage, and then I use a magnet to hold that little chunk of pattern. That's what I've been using this for, and it works great. So that was my sort of impulse buy of the month. So knitting. I haven't been doing loads of knitting, but I do have a pair of socks that I keep at work for during my lunch break, which have made their way home today because I'm in the middle of casting them off and there's no point leaving them at work once they're finished. These are from souvenir yarn that I bought when we were in Pisa. Tonks, would you leave my yarn alone, please? There's a theory, I don't know, if you're not a knitter you may not know this, but basically when you go into a yarn shop, you tend to buy yarn that matches whatever you're wearing subconsciously. So I didn't think that this was the case with this, and then when I was talking to John about it, he was like, you've managed to do the thing where you buy the yarn that matches your top again, and I was like, no I haven't. I really did. So here's the photo of the top I was wearing the day I bought the yarn. Every time we go away I buy a ball of sock yarn so that I can have souvenir socks for wherever we go, and these will be my Pisa ones. I do them 2 at a time, so as you can see they're both in the same place. I've done them toe up with a Fish Lips Kiss heel. I'll pop a link in the description of what that heel is, but it's my favourite kind of heel. You must know about it if you are not a knitter. Go check it out, honestly. And then I've done a fully ribbed cuff right from just above where the heel stops. I've re-knitted these about 3 times. First of all, I did a fully stocking stitch cuff with a tiny bit of ribbing at the top. Didn't like that, frogged it. Then I did, again, ribbing all the way up. Didn't like that, frogged it. So now I've done stockinette up to here and then ribbing all the way. Tonks, would you stop that? She's playing with my yarn. So these are nearly finished. I will be done with them by the end of today. I also cast on a new shawl, which I'm not going to show you. It's literally just 210 stitches on a pair of needles, but I'm really excited about getting back into knitting. I've really missed it, but it's just something that when I have not had my brain in the right space, looking at a lace pattern has just been impossible. That said, John went to Texas unexpectedly in March. I was going to post about it on some of the cross-stitch groups because I know there are a lot of people from Texas who are cross-stitchers there. I never got around to it, to be honest. It all happened really quickly because one week he came home and he was like, I've been invited to go talk at South by Southwest, and then the next week he was gone. So I didn't tell him about any shops that I wanted him to go to. Normally I'll give him like a list of yarn shops, and then if he gets a chance he'll go to the yarn shops and have a look. But I didn't give him that list, so I thought he wouldn't do anything, and then the lovely man absolutely spoiled me. He found Gauge, which is I think it's either in Austin or Houston, I can't remember, and he bought me 2 skeins of hand dyed. It's black trillium fibres and it is silk and merino in the peach blossom colourway, and it is just gorgeous. The last time he bought me yarn, he only bought me 1 skein. Look at me, I'm so spoiled, only bought me 1 skein. But this time he bought me 2 because I think he realised that 1 skein wasn't quite enough for shawls, which is really what I love knitting. It's socks and shawls, that's what I'm all about. So these will turn into some project at some point, a shawl, and I will explain why I can't do that just yet. Soon. I've talked about these on the blog and then changed my mind almost as soon as I posted the blog post. So if you read the blog post and you've seen what I planned for this, it's not entirely correct anymore. That's the knitting, so I'm going to move on to the spinning. Now, nobody knows this because I haven't talked about it at all, but my spinning wheel used to stand in the window in our lounge before I got actual furniture. And Tonks loves to sit on the windowsill and watch the world go by. And one day, I don't know what she was doing, John and I were both in here, but she rocketed out of the windowsill and launched herself into the spinning wheel, which she has never done before. She shows no interest in the spinning wheel unless I'm actually using it. Well, she knocked it over and the hub that holds the wheel together split. I reckon that was in about August last year. So I tried to fix it once, and I even started recording it because I was like, oh, this could be a really interesting video. A wheel basically has a thing that the wheel sits on and it spins around, and we could not, with any amount of force, get that, I think it's an axle, I don't know if that's what it's called on a spinning wheel. We could not get the axle pin thing out. My friend had told me that there was a pin that goes through to hold the spinning wheel in place. This is very technical. Basically, there was a part missing and I spent ages looking for that part and couldn't find it. I wasted like an hour, more than an hour. I was so angry, I was about to throw the whole thing away, and I was swearing, and John was like, would you just calm down? And I just couldn't. Anyway, he walked in the room 5 minutes later, had achieved what I'd been trying to do for 2 hours, and then I was so cross and so angry that I just put the whole thing away, and it's been there since August. This weekend I finally sat down and actually managed to fix my spinning wheel. Tonks is here to have her hello. Say hello, kitty. Oh, go on. Where was I? So this weekend I finally had a chance to sit down and finally finish the wheel. I had managed to glue the wheel together at some point in the last month, and then I decided the whole thing was covered in this really hard varnish and I hated it. So I decided that I was going to sand that varnish off, and I tried to do it by hand, and it was taking, I cannot explain how many hours it was taking. So I got my Dremel, which is like a rotary tool, and I used my Dremel to sand the entire thing. I reckon it must have taken about 15-16 hours of work. So it's taken me a really long time, and then I waxed it with a beeswax polish, and it just looks so good. It works so much better than it used to, I think, because I've taken the whole thing apart and re-screwed it back together. It's just more stable, it's less noisy. It looks great, and I love it so much more because I have done the work, and I engraved my name into it, and I'm just loving spinning. Now that I finally have my spinning wheel back, I never realised how much I missed it until I didn't have it anymore. I'm a process spinner, so I never really think I'm going to spin yarn, which I will then use in a jumper or something. I'm just like, I'm just gonna spin. I love spinning. It's so soothing. It's really nice. You get this jumble of wool and it turns into yarn, and I've just really missed that process. So for the last few days, I think it's been 3 days since I fixed the spinning wheel, and I've spent probably 5 or 6 hours spinning, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with a full-time job and, you know, a busy weekend and everything, it really has been quite a lot. This now ties in to the yarn. I had planned to make a shawl with this and just this. However, I've been wanting to knit a hand-spun shawl for a really long time. So now I'm debating. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. I've got this really gorgeous fibre. It's a chocolate brown alpaca fibre, which I got from John Arbon Fibres, and it is so soft and so smooth. I've got 300 grams, so all of this brown, plus the 50 grams that I've already spun. So I'm going to spin that all up, and then I might knit a completely chocolate brown alpaca shawl out of my hand spun, which will be gorgeously soft, fully mine. Or I might combine it. So if you imagine this brown with these pinks, with some sort of border going on. I haven't quite figured out the pattern yet. That's the rough plan. I've already managed to spin 50 grams of that fibre, and I'm doing it really, really thin because I want it to be lacy. If you're not a spinner, you're not going to know what that means at all, so I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I just thought you might like to see what spinning I've been up to. So that's it. I'm going to leave it here. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I think I've been rambling, and I'm hopefully going to be able to edit this into something that is not too long and makes sense, and that is just enjoyable. I'm really happy that I have time to dedicate to my love of all things fibery and crafty and stitchy and social media-y as well, because I really enjoy doing this whole sharing thing. Alright, I am really gonna go now. I'll chat to you all soon. Bye!